initiative that is being taken by Malaysian government in order to enhance the water management towards the future climates in Malaysia. So I will focus in these two aspects. One's enhancing water management in the context of the transforming the water sector, the existing condition, to the future conditions. And the second part actually how we can improve the climate resilience in the context of the water-related infrastructure or water management. So I would like to share this slide just to remind us about the impact that mainly actually contributed based on two conditions. One, due to the climatic forcing, which means that the development in the watershed area and so on. And the second part actually the climatic forcing, that's due to the climate variability and also the climate change. And in this context, we have no more the balanced conditions, and actually that's contributed by the climate variability and also the climate change, whether we will have the excess water, more water, or we may have the less water. Then we will see the impacts to the our environments. We will have the increase of the flood frequency, catchment erosion acidifications, and also at the same time we may have the frequency of the drought increase that contribute to the water supply. So just to highlight the floods in December in Peninsular Malaysia happened in 17 and 18 December last year. So actually we can see from this slide, there are three main catchments in the west coast of the Peninsular Malaysia that receive very severe flood, and also at the west coast and the east coast of the Peninsular Malaysia in this particular river basin, and also the southern part of the Peninsular Malaysia. And based on the observed record, most of the rainfall station recorded more than 100 years ARI. Then why actually we need to transform the water sector? If you can see from this slide, there are 5 main components that we need to improve it. The first sector, actually the governance side. So we need to improve the governance of the water sector. Then we need to deal with the people in order that we have the ownership towards the water resources. And also we need to improve the existing infrastructure. And also we need to have the data-driven and science-based decision-making. And of course, probably we need to have the new model of the financial, especially for the water sector. For the enhancing the water sector, there are 2 main problems here. One's whether we have too much water, and the second part actually we may have the less water. The second part actually, as compared to the energy sector in Malaysia, for the water sector, we are not really capitalized the potential to use the water as a commodity. So that's why in this case, the water sector will be recognized and made more visible and significant contributor to national growth under the context of the national agenda on the water sector transformation. As we can see here, we have 2 twin objectives under this water sector transformation. One's about the water security and sustainability. The second part actually as an economic opportunity. So in this case, we hope that it can contribute significantly to the national GDP and also to have the good quality, affordable water to the people. At the same time, we try to create new job opportunities and also to facilitate the resilient development of the science, technology, innovation, and economic, and also to focus on the RGIC and this water sector. If we can see here in the context of the micro planning of the water sector, divided into two. One's planning for water resources and services management. The second part actually planning for the infrastructure safety and risk reductions in order we can improve the resilience. For the water resources services planning, what we need to be done actually, we try to portray the expected envelope of water supply variability suitable for the given planning horizon in the context of the climate change scenario. Similar to the for the risk reductions, the infrastructure safety evaluations that focus on the future and cluster event need to be assessed and need to be incorporated in the planning and also the implementation program. So under the Malaysia 12 Malaysian Development Plan 2021 to 25, there are two main chapters that talk about the resilience and also the water sector. For example, for the chapter number 8, advancing green growth for sustainability and resilience, that focus how we can increase the resilience against climate change and disasters. And for the chapter 9, the focus actually to accelerate the implementation of IWRM to achieve sustainable development goal in the context of water sector transformation. So we still use the global approach, how we can manage the water, that's in the context of IWRM. So we have embedded a subset of IWRM in this water sector transformation that include the integrated river basin management, lake basin management, flood risk management, and also to look into the disaster risk reductions and also the climate change impact adaptations. So we can see here the 4 phases of water sector transformations from 2021 to 2040. The first phase actually to cover for the period of 2021 to 2025, just focus to accelerate the implementation of the IWRMs, and at the same time, a roadmap will be developed to align strategies, initiative, and program for each phase to ensure the success of the transformations. In the context of strategies for the water sector transformations, we have about 5 main strategies that include the empowering people, strengthening governance at all levels, and also the enhancing capability in data-driven decision-making, ensuring suitable management, financing, and also the developing the suitable infrastructure which is cost-effective. Among others, under the empowering people, actually the public consultation platform, and under the strategic number 3, to strengthening the water data and research center, and for the strategic number 5, to reduce the non-renewable water, and also to emphasize about the nature-based solution or nature-based approach. So in brief, we need to tackle these 5 components in the context of governance, people, infrastructure, finance, and informations. So in this case, a dedicated task force will be established under the National Water Council in order to guide, coordinate, monitor, and report progress about the water sector transformations. So this is actually the 10 pillars under the water sector transformations, which include the governance, planning, and so on. But I try to highlight on the technical adoptions and also the how it can be connected to the RDIC. So under these technical adoptions, so there are application of the 10-10 science, technology, innovation, and economic framework to the water sector. So we can see here the 10 technology that we include: the sensor technology, these advanced intelligence systems, the blockchain, data analytics, and also the bioscience technology. So that purposely actually to connect with the, for example, in the water management, drought and flood forecasting for effective reservoir management and early disaster mitigation, and also how the AI and deep learning algorithm to monitor the quality and predict future availability of transboundary water resources. And under the National Water Innovation Roadmap 2021-2040, so we have 5 components here. One's about talking about the clean river. The second part, how we can increase the reserve margin of the treated water, and how we can explore about the smart water. Then the fourth one actually to improve the disaster risk reductions, and the fifth one actually how we can have a future model to finance for the water sector. So in the context of improving climate resilience, so we already updated nationally determined contribution in the context of the adaptations. So focus on the water resources and security, coastal resources, securing agriculture and food security, and also the enhancing adaptation for the forestry and biodiversity, plus the increased resilience for infrastructure and cities, and also talking about the how we can improve the public health resilience. So in this context, under the Malaysia 12 Malaysian plans, we have 4 strategies, and we can see here the increasing resilience against climate change and disaster. So that's include to incorporate climate change impact, expanding on the vulnerability assessments, the enhancing the monitoring assessment, and also to have to enhance the ability of hydroclimate model in order to represent the dynamical process and project precipitation variations, so that we can integrate it in multi-hazard risk assessment that will incorporate the climate vulnerabilities, sea level rise, storm surges, and also the abnormally high tides. And the second part actually under the National Adaptation Plan is being prepared, and we hope that it can be completed by 2025. Then this actually to overcome the barrier and to formulate and implement and monitor the NAP process in Malaysia. So this actually tailored to the NDC 2031. Then we have the 4 major outcomes on the adaptation parts, on the evidence basis used to design adaptations, how a private sector can participate in this NAP process, and how we can introduce the adaptation finance. The third part actually, we just finished the climate change adaptation framework for the water sector, which aims to facilitate the formulation of the sound policies and best practices, then also intended to serve as a resource for the decision makers. Then it can be used for the National Adaptation Plan on the water sectors. And there are 3 main component issues in this framework. One, in the context of the water resources. Secondly, actually the water utilizations. And the third one actually relates to the water-related disaster. So this actually the strategies across water sector for the water resources, water utilization, and water-related disaster. We have 18 numbers of the strategies for water resources, then 20 numbers of strategies for water utilization, and 11 about the water-related disaster. For example, for the water resources, for the river condition that we may face the high flow and impact to the riverine floods. So we need to find a solution for this kind of the disaster or condition, which to develop underground or surface water retention system and increase river reserve for the urban, for the major river basin. And for example, for the coastal one, due to the sea level rise and the storm surges, that contribute to the coastal floods. So we need to divide the high resolution coastal inundation map, also the physically nature-based solutions, that we can see this actually the potential adaptation for the water resources and also the coastal condition, which include the abundant storage, retention ponds, underground storage, and also the coastal reservoir. This actually the how we can disseminate the informations based on the climate change projection data. So we create this portal, we call it the NHIDA. So we can see here the water stress index can be viewed on the map. And this also in the context of the water supply deficits and the water yield comparison between the current conditions and also the future conditions, and also this water yield difference between the current conditions and also the future conditions. For example, for this case, actually at the 2020. So in similar to the water demand, we have the existing one 2020, 2030, 2040, and also 2050. All these things actually we put it under the big data analytics platform. As to conclude this my presentation, this is actually a key message. So in order we can transform smoothly the water sector, we have about 8 initiatives or the roadmap. One, talking about the alternative water financings. Secondly, water economic system. Third, climate change impacts adaptations. Also about the virtual water footprint. And not to forget about the advocacy, awareness, and capacity buildings. And also, in order we can have a good RDIC, so we need to have the integrated data center. Also, we need to explore the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and also to include the water, food, energy nexus in the context of the long-term water sector transformation by 2040. So as a key messages here, planning and implementing water management through IWRM towards future climates. Also, how we can implement in the water infrastructure safety and risk reduction for the climate resilience, and to mainstreaming and implementing climate change adaptation through national adaptation plan and also the Malaysia development plans, and implementing the water sector's transformation in Malaysia development plans. That's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zaki.